Hey, you guys, it's Audrey with Changing Tides Energy. We are on day 12 of coming back to you, and I'm coming to you today from a different bay in a different location. I'll show you around. We are near the town of Seldovia. There's a little dock over there. We're anchored up out here in the White Eagle. This is where Scott's been doing some work, and because it's tidal dependent, we are now into the late night stages. So we decided to come over tonight a little early on the sailboat, and it's a really comfy bed on there. We can cook dinner on there, basically live aboard it. We haven't been staying on it in a while. It's been months since we've done overnights on it, and so it feels good to just get back out here. And I'm excited to stay on the boat tonight while Scott goes and does his work for a few hours, and to wake up out here in the morning and just be in a different space and place. It's a nice opportunity, and I'm still tripping, even though I'm literally not going to be walking very much. But day 12 of coming back to you. Today's topic I want to talk about, which feels like so relevant for so many reasons, is fear. I had a really beautiful distant Reiki session with a client today, and it just came to me again. False evidence appearing real. Fear. So it can be a super captivating temporary experience in our life, or it can be an enormous motivator for our entire lives. I was just sharing with a good friend about how, for me, fear basically inspired my entire life. Like, that was my motive since I was a child. The reason that I wanted to become a doctor was because of all the health issues that were happening in my family. I was really obsessed with health and taking care of myself because my parents were suffering alcoholics, and it was like kind of crazy, and I did not want to go down that path. And so I was just very obsessive over like health and fitness and everything of that nature, which basically led to a very fear inspired life. And after my dad passed away 4.5 years ago, it became really clear to me that life is really short. And if I am not living in alignment with like what I actually love, then what am I going to bring more into my life, right? If I'm stressing out about things and worrying about things and fretting over them, like, I'm going to draw that into my life. I don't want that into my life, but I still worry and I still do fret. Like, I definitely, I'm driven by emotions and, at times, or energy or the stars or whatever you want to call it. But I just want to say that sharing some personal reflection, getting close into the center of truth. It's like, what inspires you from a place of love? What inspires you from a place of happiness, or from a place of like unique expression of who you are? Do you remember what you loved to do before you experienced fear in your life? Do you remember who you are at your core before you experience fear? I mean, not everyone has my story. A lot of people didn't experience fear consistently in childhood, but some people are just afraid no matter what, even if like life is really stable and secure and supported. So it's not just our environment, right? It's also how we're wired. It's also how we just perceive and see life. And that's just a unique experience for everyone. So when I was like 26, maybe 27 years old, I had probably spent, I mean, seriously, thousands of hours on the phone with my dad. I would call him often, like daily. I would call him multiple times a day. But oftentimes the calls were like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I'm so afraid. I can't believe that this is going to happen. Or what if this happens? I can't, da 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 da. Like, this might happen. Oh no." And just freaking out. It's like, okay. And then I would live the experience of this thing happening. and waste my current present life and my present moment. And guess what? That thing would never happen. Well, I was just so caught up in the cycle of like the anxiety of the fear that I did not have the awareness that I was just wasting that energy and creating like misery for myself. And like that's how I was wired. That's what my conditioning was. And so, like, there's no shame and there's no blame there. But the reality is, with awareness, then we can, you know, choose a little bit differently. And what was really lacking for me during those times is I wasn't living in alignment with my truth. And I really knew that, like, deep down, but I was not really acknowledging that. And I was kind of avoiding it. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Where you kind of know, like, you kind of know you probably should change that, or you kind of know that's not true and it might be wasted energy, but you're still going to just do it anyway because you don't even want to think about it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to think about it. I don't know if you can relate to that, but that happens. And I was doing that, and I was doing that for years, like literally years, and ended up in a really bad spot. And my daughter was 1, so this was like 11 years ago. And I just remember having the awareness that she is absolutely going to not hear anything that I say, but she's going to watch how I live. She's going to see how I treat my body. She's going to see what I say to myself. She's going to see how I treat myself. She's going to see, like, this is like how they learn. And for me, having a daughter was different than having a son in that regard, because personally I grew up in such I guess distress, like, about just self-image and teasing and just all of that stuff. So I felt more inspired by, this, just by really at that time, like, really helping just show my daughter that how to just be a strong woman and be secure regardless of, internals or externals or whatever. Well, it turns out that the internals are what really um, needed to be practiced and expressed in order to get into the space where I was even able to tap into the thought of making a change. And if you are in that space where you know it's in there and you know that you want to make this change, but you don't actually want to think about it, you just want to avoid it, then you're not ready yet. And that's fine. And I was doing that for a really long time. And it just eventually it made me really sick. And I was over consuming all sorts of things to kind of numb out that feeling of like misalignment. And again, I don't know if you can relate, but, we try and change the way we feel with externals. And um, the fear is something, it's false evidence appearing real, and it's absolutely our own reflection and our own projection of like our internal state of well-being. And so for me, I had this aha moment when I was like 26 years old, when I was telling you how I went to my dad all the time, but I didn't tell you how one day what he just said, and it just clicked. He was like, Audrey, just imagine how much energy you're wasting on worrying about things that never even happen. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, my energy, that's not an unlimited resource. So, anyway, obviously, there's things to think about, and there's things to have awareness around, caution around. There's things to educate ourselves on in this world. There's, um, you know, reasons to have that awareness and to evaluate your situation and take the actions that feel necessary in alignment. But being inspired and being motivated by fear, being driven by fear each day, that is a thief. That is a thief from your present moment. That is a thief from my present moment. That is a thief from the opportunity to receive those gifts and those blessings that are here for all of us divinely all the time, if we can just get out of our own way to receive. And fear is one of those ways that can really block us. And how do you unblock yourself from fear? Well, I'll I start by identifying the fear. What is the fear? And then I look at it and I'm like, do you have any evidence to support this fear? is this like one of those real black and white things that I do sometimes? Okay. Then, that's not real. Okay. Um, is there anything I need to do to address this? Is there anything that I can do? And then sometimes just for fun, I'm like, well, let's really look at the root of this. Where is this fear coming from? What kind of wounding is this coming from? What kind of trauma is this coming from? And are you ready to face it? Are you ready to heal? Are you ready to look at it and address it and work through it and offer love and support to that tender part of yourself? And for me, the answer is absolutely yes, because we're here to evolve, we're here to grow and expand. And this is a time of returning to our highest self and a time of returning to our true nature. And so if you're feeling the nudge or the urge or the little pulsing within your soul to get more connected with your own truth in a state of faith, in a state of present living, in a state of true, genuine connection with this life. If you're feeling that, even on just the most micro level, just lean in. Lean into that. It's a beautiful way to connect with yourself. It's a beautiful way to experience peace. Pouring love on yourself in those dark spaces is what softens and what warms and just really, really softens and dulls those sharp edges. And when that happens, then we can really experience life in all of its beauty and all of its mystery and just the entire experience. I mean, that's why we're here, just to experience it. So don't let fear steal from you. And if you recognize that it is, then I just invite you to get into it with it, interrogate it, check it out. What is going on? Where is it coming from? And then shine light and love on that. Move through it. And before you know it, you're going to evolve, and those fears will no longer control you, and your brain and your conditioning will change because we can rewire our brain. Neuroplasticity is real. And thank you for sharing this journey with me. Day 12, coming back to you. Subscribe if you'd like to hear more.